Hello guys, in this video I'm gonna teach you how to get started with Advanced Econometrics and how to install R and how to load the data into R and how to run our script in R, okay? So this is our page, our Moodle VLE page for Advanced Econometrics. If you scroll down, you can see a description of the course. You can see a picture of myself, Tomas Rotta. You can see more information about this module, how the lectures are going to be run, how the computer labs are going to be run, assessment, there is a project and a final exam too. If you keep scrolling down, you're going to see a bunch of links to free ebooks online, how to learn R, like this R tutorial for beginners or doing econometrics in R. Then you can see the R codes that I have written for this module. The first file is the code, the full code, the complete code for time series. Then you have two time series that we're going to use, the Fed funds rate and the 10-year bond yields. Then you have the complete code for panel data estimations. If you click here, you can see some of the recordings from last year. It might be very useful to you in case you get confused with, like, running tests for unit roots or integration tests. Here in week 1, you can see we have the link to the online lecture. We have the link to our channel on Teams. You can download the slides from the lecture, and you can download the exercise for the computer lab that you have to do in R, okay? So the first step is to come here to this part and then click on download R if you don't have it. Now you choose if you want R for Windows, Mac OS, or Linux. I have Windows, so I click download R for Windows, then base, then download the latest version for Windows. You wait for the download. I'm going to stop it because I already have R on my computer. So basically what you do, just wait until it's downloaded. You click on it, you install it. But I already have it. So as you can see here, I already have R installed. Okay, so I'm gonna double click. It opens R. Okay. But now we need to run the script and we need to load the data, okay? So you can go so close this page, then come back to our Moodle page. So what do you have to do? We're gonna deal with time series first and panel data only later after the reading week. So click here to download the R code for time series. You can download these two files. These are two CSV files, comma separated values. It opens in Excel. We're going to use it too. But I'm also going to teach you how to bypass this step and download the data directly from the Federal Reserve database without using these files. So you can use it if you want to have the files on your computer. But you can also download it directly, the same information. Actually, update information. These files are updated until December of 2020, and that's what you get directly from the database. But if you connect R directly to the database, you are always going to get the latest data. Okay. So next step. So R is open. So we have I downloaded the files to my desktop. If you open the CSV file for the Fed funds rate, you're gonna see the year. This is monthly data, so you're gonna see the month, the first day of the month, then the month, July 54, then August 54, then September 54, all the way up until December 2020. And this is in percentage terms. So if you open, in case you want to see the other file too, the bond yield for the 10-year bond, it begins in April 53, and if you scroll down, you have data until December 2020. So we are gonna load this data into R. If this is new to you, please stay with me. I'm gonna show how to upload this data into R. And this is the code. You can open it in a text editor like Notepad. And this is the code that I have written for this module. Install the packages first, then load the packages into your running session in R. Yeah, and I have written the instructions here. Okay, so let's see how this works. By the way, as I have said before, there are two ways to load the data. You can load the data from the CSV files that you have downloaded from Moodle, or you can fetch the data directly from the online databases. In this case, we are using the FRED, which is the Federal Reserve of St. Louis in the United States. Okay, I prefer, if you have a connection to the internet, just run this code. Okay, it's better. You get the latest data. So let me close this. I'm coming back to R, and then we need to set the working directory. So my advice to you is you come here. In case I'm using my desktop, but it doesn't matter. You create a folder and you put Advanced Econometrics there. And then you grab these files and then you move them to this to this directory. So all your files are there, the data files and the R code, okay? It's there. R needs to know where the files are, okay? So the first thing that you do in R is to click on File, then Change Directory. You need to change the working directory because R needs to know where the files are. So in my case, I put it on the desktop, but there's a folder for them. Click OK. Then Open Script. So now when you click on Open Script, R is going to know where you are. You see, this PC, desktop, Advanced Econometrics, okay? Because you told R where your working directory is. So then the double click here, it's going to open the full R code that I have prepared. So the first thing that you have to do is to install all the packages, okay? So select this using the mouse. Now you have two options. You can right click and then click on Run Liner Selection, or as you can see here, you can just press Ctrl R on your keyboard and it's going to run. It's only going to run the lines that you have selected, okay? And by the way, if there is this hash, the hashtag before something like a message, it means like don't run this command. If you do Ctrl R here, this is not a command, it's just a comment. So this line is commented out. Okay, so let's install the packages. I have the packages installed, but I'm gonna show you how it works. So right click, so select, right click, then run liner selection. And now we have to wait a little bit because it takes some time to download all these packages from the R, the main server, the R main server. It takes a while. Okay, so now all the packages have been installed. You don't need to install again, just for the very first time, but you do need to load them into your R session every time that you open R. So select, right click, run liner selection, and then you're gonna load into the memory all these packages that we're gonna use, okay? So only do this, only install the packages once, but this you have to, this one here, these lines you have to run every time that you open R, okay? This code here is to clear the buffer. there's nothing in the buffer. Sorry, there's nothing in the buffer, but sometimes you need to clear the buffer, so use this line here. This is just an introduction. I'm gonna post other videos on how to do things, you know, and the assistant will also post videos on how to do the exercises in the problem set. So here, as I told you, you can load the data directly from the file on the computer, okay? So basically, this command here is saying read the CSV file, which is in the folder, transform this data set into this object. This is just a fictitious name for the object. You can name it whatever you want. The command attach is very important. The attach command says grab the data, and for each column, you transform that column into a variable. And the name of the variable is going to be the top row, the first row of the file, where the file, the name of the variable is, okay? TS means time series. So it's saying, look, grab this data set, transform this into variables, or one, in this case, it's just one variable. And then transform this into a time series object, okay? It's a time series object that starts in July of 1954, frequency 12, because it's monthly data, so 12 months in the year. So that's why we have frequency equals 12 months in a year. You don't need to put the end when the series ends, because R will know, but you do need to tell R when the series starts. This is very important. Don't make a mistake here. It's July 54 for the Fed funds rate. So it's a time series object, and this time series object is called Fed rate. So if you do Control R here, you can see the object, okay? It starts in July 54, and it goes all the way to December. You see the last column is for December, so December 2020. So it's in the memory now. And the same happens for the bond yield. We are grabbing the data from the other CSV file. This is the name of the series. It's a fictitious name that we created. Transform the data set into a variable or a series of variables. And then again, make it into a time series object. In this case, the starting month is different. It's April 1953, frequency 12, because again, it's monthly data and we have 12 months in the year. So if you do Control R here, you're also going to see the bond yields for the 10-year treasury bonds since April 1953 until the last column is for December 2020. Okay, this is one way of doing it. So for example, so if you just type Fed rate, you can see the data. You can also do, let's see, head. You can do head Fed data. You see the first row. You can do view data. And then it opens as if it were like an Excel. It opens a kind of spreadsheet. Then you can see all the data there. So basically we have almost 800 data points for this series. You can do the same for the bond yield. Okay, it opens a spreadsheet just like in Excel. The good thing about R is that R is very powerful because it's transforming everything that it's using into an object, and then you can manipulate these objects. For example, you can plot. You can plot this object, okay? Let's suppose you want the log of the bond. So you do log of the bond and then you plot it, okay? Very quick, so that's the log. Right? Let's suppose you want the log of the bond minus the log of the Fed rate. So this is the difference between logs. I mean, it's the difference between the logs. So it's the log of the bond yield minus the log of the Fed rate. and you get an instant graph. It's much faster than Excel. And you know, why do we use R? It's because R is an object-oriented language. So everything that R does is by manipulating objects. So everything here, like this series, the logs, everything is an object, and you can manipulate these objects, which means you can automate stuff, okay? So the things that you do manually in Excel are gonna become automated in R, okay? R is a very powerful language. R and Python right now are the best languages if you're going into the job market, okay? For example, you can do other operations here too. You can do whatever you want. You can square this. You can, so you square, run, plot. So this is the plot of the log of the bond yield squared. Okay, you square after you take the log. So you're actually squaring the log, and then you plot it. You can change the colors. You can do, we're gonna say this later. You can also fetch the data directly from the online database without having the files on your computer. So let me show you how this works. I'm gonna actually close R. And look, go back to that folder and delete the two CSV files. You see, now I only have the R code, okay? I only have the R code there. So let me open R again. Notice, I don't have the CSV files again. I don't have the data on my computer. But look what is going to happen. I'm going to fetch the data directly from the web server. So again, change the working directory, desktop, Advanced Econometrics, hit OK, then open script, Advanced Econometrics. Again, you don't have to install the packages again, but you do need to load them into the memory. So Control R. It's going to load the packages into the memory. Now we skip this first part. Don't load the data from the CSV files. What do? You fetch the data directly from the internet. So run this, Control R. Bang, it's there. You can see it. If you run this bit, you can see the fed rate is there. It's loaded into the memory, and I don't have the data on my computer. I just fetch the data directly from the server. And the bond yield too, okay? So both of them are there. You can read this later at home. Now we are gonna create a data set, and we are gonna do some plots, okay, in this video. You can see the head of the data set. We only have two series, the fed rate and the bond yield. You can view the entire data set just like in Excel. Okay, you can scroll down. Oh, and by the way, yeah, let me tell you something. You see that when I'm creating the data set, which is a data frame, you say data frame equals true. So I'm combining these two series into one object, which is a data frame, which is called data set. But I'm using TS intersect. Remember, TS stands for time series. Okay, intersect means only use the intersection, only the time period that these two series have in common. Because remember, they are monthly data, but one of them starts in, one of them starts in July 54 and the other one in April 53. So between April 53 and July 54, you don't have data for the bond yield. So you cannot use it, okay? You can only begin using this series, and the first one, you don't have it before 1954. You don't, sorry for the mistake. You don't have this data before 1954, so this one has to start in 1954, in July 1954 too, okay? So both of them are going to start here, okay? So that's what the command ts intersect does automatically, okay? So we have already run this part. Yeah, you can view the data set in this way too. You can view the characteristics of this data set by using a string data set. You can view the data separately. You can view the plots, right? Fed rate, bond yield. And both of them now, they have the same length, okay, because we use the TS intersect command. You can plot them together, so they are juxtaposed. One series is on top of the other. I have some other plots here too that you can run now using colors that have the subcaption, the legend. You can also plot them in first differences. So both series in first differences. You can plot the gap. You see bond yield minus Fed rate. So this is what the bond yields on top of what the federal rate yields. So that's the difference between them. And this is the horizontal line at when the difference is 0. Okay. So anything above 0 is positive, anything below 0 is negative. And here you can actually do a correlation plot. So in the x-axis, you have the bond yield, and in the y-axis, you have the Federal Reserve rate. And this suggests a very high correlation between them over time. Okay. So that's it for this video, and I'm in the future, in the near future, I'm going to post other videos too about the unit root tests, and I'm going to run over this in the lectures, and you're going to learn how to do this step by step in the computer lab with our assistant lecturer. Okay, so as you can see, the file has a section for unit root tests, then a section for optimal lag selection, cointegration tests, Johansen procedure, and so forth, okay? And this is for the first 5 weeks of the module, time series, and then we are gonna have, so as you can see here, the first 5 weeks are for time series econometrics, then we have the reading week, no lectures or computer labs, and then after week 6, for the next 5 weeks after the reading week, we are going to do panel data. Okay, we're also going to use R for panel data. And the complete R code for panel data is available here already, so you can download it and take a look if you want. Oh, by the way, WDI is the data set that we're going to use for the panel data R code. And here you have the section about the project. And I'm going to, you can already see the project. Half of the project is about time series and the other half is about panel data. Okay, so that's all for now, and see you soon. Bye-bye.